Hello, everyone. How are you? Yours truly, Natanya here. Oh my goodness, my computer is asking me a million questions here. So, I've never been live from my laptop, so this is very different. So I'm just going to check here on my phone, knowing I can't see. I'm going to check here on my phone and see what's going on. I hope you guys can see me. Let's see here. Okay, so I guess you can see me. So great. Hello, everyone. I won't be able to probably respond to any comments or anything like that here on my laptop because this setup is super weird. But it's okay because I'm not here for that. Good morning. Good morning. It is yours truly, Natanya. I am here with another video, not my cooking videos, but today is a video. Hang on. I've got to turn my self off here. So I am here to talk about some pantry items for the virtuous woman. So as those of you who know, my business is called Virtuous Living. It is based off of the Proverbs 31 woman. Everything that she is, my business will be. I think that I've gotten so comfortable with cooking that I've kind of neglected the other things of my business that I really wanted to bring to you and that God has put in me to bring out. But I'm getting back to it. So if you've been following me on my personal page, you know that I have been warning people for a few years about about some things that are coming down. I'm sorry. About some things that are going on in the world, some prophetic dreams that God has been giving me about food shortages and people not being able to find food and people running and different things that I don't want to speak too much because I don't want my video to be taken down. But I will say, those of you who know the gifts that God has given me and how God uses me, you know that I've been warning for a little bit. So I wanted to bring to you guys some things that a virtuous woman, a prepared woman, can keep in her cabinet to make sure that her family is well taken care of during this time. I want to say, first of all, we can do all this stuff, and if we don't have God, if God does not take care of us, if God does not keep us, then you just won't be kept. But one thing about God is, hello, Christian. Okay, so I can see your comments here on my laptop. This is really a weird setup here on my laptop, but that's okay. Hello, Christian. One thing is, we know that God will protect us, God will take care of us, God will provide. But just like God told Noah to prepare for the rain, just like God told Joseph to prepare for the famine, God is telling us to prepare for some things that are coming, no matter where you live, not just America, but in other countries. So it is our job to use this time that we have wisely so that we are prepared women. Okay, the Bible does say in Proverbs 1 that she has no fear when it snows because her house is covered in scarlet. And so, yes, the Bible may say when it snows, but I want us to think about that in a natural sense. Snow means hardship. Snow means financial hardship. You could lose your job. Your husband can lose his job. You guys may have a whole bunch of unexpected bills at any time, and now you still have to feed your family. Life doesn't stop just because you have hardships. So today I'm going to show you some easy and frugal things that we can keep in our cabinet to make sure that whenever the food shortage hits or whenever the famine hits or anything like that God has been showing me. I don't know how soon, but I do know that it's coming. And so I just want to help you prepare. So let me get my little list here that I created. None of this stuff is in any particular order. It's just kind of all here. I was just trying to write things down really fast. Okay, so the first thing, obviously, is we want to focus on the pantry today. I will do a freezer video. I will do an emergency preparedness video when I talk about things that you should have in your house for lights out in emergency situations. I also will try my best to do a pet video, some pet things that we need to have in our house because we don't want to forget about our fur babies, okay? So today is all pantry items, things that were going to last no matter if your power goes out or not. I have had a few dreams about some darkness, and I don't know what those are about. So waiting on God to show me everything, or what He's going to show me. But I do know that lights out is a very big possibility. So canned goods. Canned goods is our first thing that we're going to talk about today. So you obviously want to have a variety of vegetables, a variety of canned goods. I like these here from Jewel. And the reason I like this one, and I got this one out of pantry to show you, is it says it's no salt added. Okay, now I am not a veterinarian, so I don't claim to be, but I am a dog lover. And I will say this, um, just from me buying, you guys know that I just lost my other dog a few months ago, and this new dog that I have, he's not fed homemade dog food. I feed him dog food, and just from me having him for these past few months, dog food has shot up, and I can't find it everywhere. So my other dog, I always kept these little emergency things in my pantry because they were salt free. I want to say this because if you have high blood pressure, if you have any other condition, unfortunately, a lot of people can't have salt. These vegetables here from Jules are usually 69 cents, and they have no added sodium in it. And if it becomes in a pinch, you can mix this with a little bit of rice, and your animal can eat this too, because this is all stuff animals can eat: carrots, potatoes, peas, corn, green beans. I picked the corn out though. Green beans, celery, and lima beans. Those are all things that I do know that animals can eat as well. So these are great pantry items to keep. I'm not going to say that I love canned vegetables, but I do believe in having them, because if you need to pair them with a meal or something like that, at least your family is getting some healthy vegetables, okay? So canned vegetables is something I want you guys to get. I also like to have my Campbell's cream of mushrooms, cream of celery. Sometimes I get the cream of mushroom, cream of celery mixture, cream of mushroom, cream of chicken mixture, stuff like that. If you watch my cooking videos, you know I like to make gravy out of these. These can also, if you wanted to, you could put this over some rice, over some chicken. It has sodium in it, so you wouldn't be using some of your spices. If for some reason you can't go to the store and you're running low on spices, this has some spice to it, so you can kind of add to it and make it work. You can eat this as a whole meal. You can use this as a basis for something and add some vegetables and add some chicken to it to kind of make a cream of whatever, and chicken soup, chicken and dumplings. Those of you who've eaten my chicken and dumplings, one of my secrets is the canned cream of chicken. So there's a variety of things you can do with these, and these are relatively cheap. And I am a little bit of a Campbell's fan, but you can get any brand that you would like, okay? And these are great for your pantry. These go a long, long, long way. Next thing, canned meat. Canned meat. Again, this is all about pantry because we don't want to rely on the freezer. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. God forbid the power goes out or whatever. You can even get some, sorry guys, you can even get some canned crab meat. You can get salmon. You can get tuna. You can get canned chicken. I keep chicken. Again, for animals, I would definitely stock up on canned chicken, because I have done before, like, times when I was like trying to hurry up and feed my dog and I forgot to make her food or didn't get a chance to make her food. I would rinse all of the salt off of the canned chicken, and then put it with some fresh vegetables, make it with some rice. Your dog has a meal. That is not something your dog should eat long term, but if for some reason you can't get their food or it's an emergency situation, at least your animal is eating. You guys have been in the store. First of all, I don't ever buy frozen crab. You guys, I saw some crab the other day. It was $30. $30 for one claw or leg or whatever. And I said, I will eat my own hand before I pay that price. Okay, so these are great cheaper options. If you watched my macaroni and cheese video, you saw me make some seafood mac and cheese out of this, and it was good. So tuna, you can stock up on tuna. You can make tuna sandwiches. You can make tuna wraps. Stock up on salmon. You can make salmon croquettes. You can make put that over some pasta and some fancy sauce that you could even make with your cream of whatever soups, and pair it with some veggies, and you've got a good meal. So canned meat. Now, if you're a person, I do recommend, if you're a person who can your own meat, your own veggies, and all of that, that's probably a better option, because it's healthier and you know what's in it. However, because I do have a urgency in my spirit, if you're not used to canning your own things and you've never done it before, I do recommend that you learn, but I also recommend that you go ahead and stock up on things that are already prepared just in case you do something wrong and your food is not properly stored. And now everything that you've been storing is gone bad, and so that wouldn't be wise. So I would say do a little bit of both, but until you know what you're doing, go ahead and get things that are already prepared in the store, just until you know what you're doing. So we got cream of mushroom, canned vegetables, canned meat, canned fruit. Okay, so if you guys remember at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of things were scarce in the store, produce, fresh fruit, and everything like that. I do believe you want your family to still get some fruit in. This is not substitute for a fresh apple. This is not something I would recommend you always feed your kids, but these canned fruits, you look for the ones that say that they're in 100% juice, not the ones that are in syrup. They still have some vitamins in here. They still have some vitamin C. They still have, this one has potassium, this one has calcium in it, and this one has, I believe, says a little bit of vitamin D as well. So they're not extremely healthy, but at least your family would be getting some type of vegetables in their diet. Or, sorry, excuse me, at least your family would be getting some type of fruit in their diet. Um, Again, look for 100% juice. Now, let's talk about something sweet. I also recommend getting some pie filling or canned fruit that's in syrup, or some type of filling, because if we go on lockdown again, which I do believe that we will, or it may not be safe to go outside for whatever reasons, there's nothing worse than being in the house, having a sweet tooth, and then being locked up and knowing that the world out there behind your four walls, there's a whole bunch of mess going on. You're going to want something sweet. Your kids are going to want something sweet. Your kids, sometimes just something sweet just makes you feel good and makes your house feel lovely. So I would say, while you're stocking up, stock up on a few things that you can make a little pie out of really quick, or make a dumb cake. I will do some videos on some pantry cooking where you can cook nutritious and complete meals out of just things out of your pantry. Stock up on just things that are sweet and your family would like, so that you can put some smiles on their faces despite the hard times. That whatever's coming our way, you can put some smiles on people's faces. Okay, so those are my canned goods. Oh, I'm sorry, this is something, now this company is going through a major shortage for some reason. Something is going on with this. Hi, Aaliyah. Thank you, Aaliyah. I love you. You guys, I'm sorry if you guys are talking to me and I can't see. My laptop is really weird. This is a really weird setup. I've never gone live from my laptop before. So this is my bell peppers. Now, this particular company, the things that they have in these cans last for 25 years. 25 years. However, when you open it, it then lasts only for a year. I like stuff like this because, first of all, we season. You guys see me cook. We season in this house. I don't use a lot of salt, but I like seasoning. And there's nothing worse than being on lockdown, or being in the house, or there being a shortage, and your food is not only pantry, but now it's bland. No, 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 no. We want things that are going to have some seasoning to it. So I buy these bell peppers, and I can easily mix this with some chicken or some pulled pork or something. If for some reason the freezer goes out and you have no more in your freezer, and you can still be getting some great southern goodness and taste to your food, okay? So these are dehydrated bell peppers. You can get dehydrated onions. You can do them yourself. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, dehydrating some things yourself and putting them in some mason jars so that your family has them, especially if you have a garden. You can be dehydrating things in your oven if you don't have a dehydrator. The new air fryer that my aunt bought me has a dehydrating function that I'm going to be trying out this week, so maybe I'll do a video about that. So yes, be looking for things that season, dehydrated bell peppers, onions, also some dehydrated celery. Great for adding to whatever you need to add some taste to. The next thing is rice and beans. Obviously, when we talk about stocking up, when we talk about things that need to be pantry stable, rice and beans is something people often tell you about. The only thing is that when you keep bags of rice and beans, bags of beans can only be kept so long before they become super, super hard, even with soaking. and they become too hard for you to be able to cook. I've never had that experience, but I do know that it's true. So these are some beans. What I do is I buy my beans when they're on sale. Beans are cheap anyway. They're like $1 and something, $1.50. And I get my mason jars, and I sticker my mason jar with what they are and the date that I can them. And as you can see, when I press down on here, you see how there's no sound? It's because I take all of the air out of them. By me doing this can of beans will last me 30 years. Okay, 25 to 30 years. I'm not going to experiment with that long, but I do know that it will last that long. I've done rice like this, and I just rotate, my food. Rice will last 25, 30 years. The key, though, with rice, and the key, though, with flour, and the key with cornmeal, you can do just what I said, but you have to freeze it first. So what I usually do is I freeze my rice for about 3 days, then take it out the freezer and let it sit out for about 2 days, still in the bag. Let it sit out for about 2 days so that it thaws out. And then I'll put it in mason jars like this, and then I will take the air out of them. Now, you can take it out if you have a food saver. You can take the air out with your food saver, but I like to use this. This is called a brake bleeder, and it was only $18. And the great thing about this is if the power goes out and I'm literally cooking from the pantry, I can reseal this and my jars without any power. Okay, and okay, you get one of these. These are the tops that go onto your mason jars. I'll try to leave some links down below. And you get your rice that's thawed out. You can do this with cornmeal. You can do this with flour. You can do this with oatmeal, things that are shelf stable. And while they're still cheap, with this hyperinflation going on, we don't know how high things go. Beans and rice may be unaffordable one day. You see how I can pick up my beans just by the top and they don't come off? That's how I know that my jar was sealed properly. So you would put your beans and rice, in here. Then you would put this on top. Ladies, if you have a husband, make him do this part because your arm will get tired eventually. Put this on top. You put that piece in there, and then you would, until you get all the air out. Okay, I'll do another video on that, and maybe I'll dry can or can some of the stuff on camera. Okay, so again, check your jar. No air. Let me show you a jar that I didn't seal so that you guys can see my black eyed peas. You hear that? That's because the jar is not sealed. So this will not, if you just put things in mason jars because you think they're pretty and you don't take the air out of them, they're not going to last you 20, 30 years like I told you before. So taking the air out is very important. Those vacuum sealers can be a little bit expensive, so that's why I recommend getting this $18 one and get your work out by doing it manually. Plus, you're always safe in case your power goes out. Rice is super cheap. Beans are super cheap. You can get the canned beans like this that come in like this. I get the ones from Jewel. Again, those are salt-free. Some of them are salt-free, so I look for the ones that are salt-free. And you can mix them with some different spices so that you have some beans that are already prepared. But I prefer dried beans because then I don't know, I just like homemade. So have a little bit of both, but you do what works for you and your family. Okay, next thing you want to stock up on is pasta. Pasta is so important to stock up on right now, especially with the wheat shortage that America is going through because of the war in Ukraine. Pasta's still super cheap. We don't know how long it's going to be super cheap. I recommend getting I'm sorry if you guys hear Mordecai. He wants to go outside, but that's because he's spoiled. Pasta's still super cheap. I recommend getting all types of pasta. Angel hair, linguine, fettuccine, bow tie. Get all different types of pasta. I get the one from Jewel sometimes when they go on sale for like 88 cents a box. I have no problem with that pasta, and just stock up on all different types so that you can make different meals. You can stock up on those. You can mix a little bit of this with pasta and maybe some of your canned meat and a vegetable. You will have a nice little pantry meal. I forgot to mention with these, I'm actually going to be doing some experimenting later this week. I'm going to dehydrate some of my like broccoli and peas and stuff like that, and I'm going to do the same thing. That way I have some other vegetables other than the ones that I buy in the store. I have some other vegetable options for stews or pasta dishes or whatever I may have to make out the pantry if it comes down to it. Okay, so pasta is definitely something that's cheap and that you can keep in your pantry. Next thing, breadcrumbs. Okay, breadcrumbs are super important to have because you can make meatloaf, you can make burgers, you can make chicken parmesan, you can make it's a binder, you can use it as a topping to kind of spruce things up. Breadcrumbs are only $1.50 a can. I usually like to buy the regular, no added like not the Italian style, because this usually has rosemary in it and I'm not a big fan of rosemary, but this is the one I grabbed for you. So buy panko breadcrumbs and buy regular breadcrumbs. Sometimes I like to use panko and sometimes I like to use regular, but breadcrumbs are super cheap and they go so far in your pantry. So breadcrumbs. The next thing is crackers. You want to stock up on your crackers. Crackers, again, great for binders, great for snacks, great for things. You can use crackers for anything. Peanut butter and crackers, cheese and crackers, just crackers just to eat, crackers to go on top of a soup that you may make. Crackers are still cheap. This is from Aldi. I don't even think these are $2 yet, so this is something cheap you can keep in your pantry that will really, also if you have kids, it may keep your kids quiet for a little bit. Kids usually like crackers. Next thing is eggs and dairy. Yes, you can freeze dry your eggs, but what I do is I water glass eggs. Now these are eggs that I got from a farmer. I ask for unwashed eggs. I put them in this big jar carefully. As you can see, one of my eggs busted because I'm clumsy, but that's okay. I put those in that big jar and I mix it with what's called pickling lime. Okay, look this up. There's a recipe, there's a ratio of pickling lime and water and distilled water that you put in jars. And these eggs will last you, I know 2 to 3 years. So I can literally keep these eggs in this jar for 2 to 3 years and they'll be good enough to eat. I have eaten out of this jar. I've made just scrambled eggs for breakfast and they were fine. I've never baked with them, so I wouldn't count on these for baking, but these are definitely things that, if you have maybe some bacon or something like that and we can't go to the store, you guys know that I do have a cooking business, and eggs that I use for my cakes, I went to the store and for 12 eggs, you guys, it cost me almost $4. That is insane. That's absolutely insane. So inflation's only getting worse. So I would definitely recommend you getting some eggs to stock up on and putting them, water glassing them, which is what I just did, what I just showed you, or putting them freeze-dried eggs. There's ways that you can freeze them, but we're trying not to rely on our freezer right now. There's a variety of things. I do know that you can do something similar to what I'm doing with store-bought eggs, but I've never done it, and I don't want to steer you guys wrong. If I'm not mistaken, there's a way that you could put like some type of mineral oil coating on the egg and it still preserves them. I don't know if it's as reliable and it lasts as long as what I just showed you, which is putting some farm eggs into pickling lime. But do your research and you do what's best. You do what's best for your family. Okay. Now let's talk about some kids. I'm going to do now something you should keep in your cabinet is. And this cute is a little baby carnation. Evaporated milk. And then my sweetened condensed milk is over there somewhere. But you guys know what that looks like. Sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk. These go a long way. Okay, you can use this in some pantry macaroni and cheese, which I'm going to show you guys soon how to do. You can use these in mashed potatoes. You can use these in baking. Anything, pretty much almost anywhere where you can use regular milk, there's a way that you can kind of substitute some evaporated milk for it. Now, I'm no doctor. I have to give this disclaimer. Hold on, guys. Let me just make sure that I'm still live because I know that my laptop can be fooling me here. So I'm no doctor, but a disclaimer would be um, I know that children, if you're a nursing mother or you're a mother who can't nurse and your child is still on formula, there's a formula shortage going on. If you guys remember what I posted a few years ago, I was telling you all if you're a mother that's nursing and you produce a lot of milk, please consider freezing your breast milk. You do not have to be the birth mom to breastfeed another baby. You can please consider freezing it, donating it to orphanages or adoption centers and stuff like that, so that other kids have milk. If you have a neighbor and you know that her child is only on formula, one, formula is super expensive right now, and then two, formula is kind of unavailable in a lot of areas. There's no formula, or there's a limit on how much you can get. I said all that to say there is a way that you can feed children evaporated milk. And there's a way that you can feed your baby rice milk. So if you're stocking up a lot, remember rice is still really, really cheap. There's a way, I think, that you like boil the water and then the rice, and then you can make rice milk out of it. Infants can drink that. Infants can drink evaporated milk, and I forgot. Don't quote me because I've never tried this. You guys know I don't have any kids. I think you mix it with a certain amount of water. There's something you do, but I do know this is something that if I was a mother, I would definitely make sure that I would have in case for some reason I couldn't breastfeed. Your child should not be on this long term, but again, we're talking about emergencies. In emergency, we do what we gotta do to survive. So this is something that you can feed your child, but look it up. Something that I know I have done when I babysat is this Pantry stable milk. I get this from the dollar store. Hello, Chef Erica. You guys know I bow whenever I say her name. Chef Erica, my friend Erica, is the one that taught me about this milk, and I always keep this in my pantry, and I can honestly tell you guys that I've used this in baking. I've used this in, I think, macaroni and cheese. I have used this in oatmeal. I have used this in grits. I have used this in a lot of things, and it's just like regular milk. We are one of the only countries that put our milk in the fridge. Other countries don't do that. So I know it kind of freaked me out first. I was like, oh, I don't want to drink milk that's not in the fridge. But other countries don't drink milk in the fridge. So I get this from Dollar Tree. I do like it. I like whole milk. I was babysitting a baby that wouldn't sleep, and I didn't have any regular refrigerated milk. And I put this on the stove, and I heated it up, and I put it in her bottle, and she was knocked out like a light. So I do know kids do like it. It does not taste different. It does taste a little bit it's got maybe like a little sweeter taste if I had to describe it, but it doesn't mess up your food. It's not going to be something that's going to mess up your food. But it's only $1. Well, now $1.25 because Dollar Tree is now $1.25 tree. But it's great to keep in your pantry because we don't know what's going to happen. If we can't get milk, if you can't go to the store, this is going to save you. Okay, so this, if you make your kids some cookies, they may be able to drink this as well. I also like, Dollar Tree has other versions of this. So not just regular milk. They have almond milk. If I'm not mistaken, they may have soy milk. They may have oat milk. I'm a white milk drinker and a soy milk drinker, so I really don't look for the almonds and stuff. But I have bought the almond for someone else before, and it was good. So definitely for $1.25, you can keep this in your pantry, and you can't go wrong. I get these from Amazon, and if anybody sees this brand in the store, please buy it. I'll come to your house and I'll pick it up. I've been looking for this everywhere. Because of the shortage, this is so hard to find, and I want to cry a little bit, but I'm not gonna cry. So this is the vanilla silk. This is soy milk, but I'm showing you this just to show you that there's a variety of milks you can have. This I put in tea. I eat with cereal, and it naturally sweetens my cereal, so I don't have to use as much sugar or whatever. So this is like some options you may want to have because it's already got some sugar in it and stuff, so that kind of keeps you from having to use your pantry sugar. Okay, and then sweetened condensed milk, which is over there somewhere, but you guys already know what that looks like. Another thing that you can use in baking, if the shortages happen where we can't get coffee cream, you can use sweetened condensed milk in your coffee instead of creamer. That's kind of not for me. I don't really like it that much, but other countries, some countries, that's the only way they drink it is with the sweetened condensed milk. You can make sweetened condensed milk into regular milk by doing different things to it. So that may be something you keep in your pantry. You can use it in baking. You guys have seen me make my sweet potato pie on camera before. I use that in there, and then I don't have to use as much white sugar. So sweetened condensed milk is super cheap, and it's definitely something that you can stock up right now and be okay. Talking about sweetness, let's talk about our sweeteners. Stock up on honey, stock up on sugar. I would be looking for those really big things of sugar, and you get a food grade bucket. A food grade bucket, I think I got mine from Menards for like $5, $6, $7, something like that. It's really, really big, and you can put pounds and pounds of sugar in there. You could put a bay leaf in there to keep, little ants and bugs away. Some people put oxygen absorbers. Some people just don't do anything and just put the stuff in there and seal it. You do your research, but sugar is definitely something you want to stock up on. I would recommend brown sugar, but if you have not been preparing all of this time and you're starting now, I would just say start with your honey and start with your white sugar, and then get you some molasses. Brown sugar is nothing but molasses and white sugar mixed together. So you can always make brown sugar if you desperately need it, but really make sure you have your white sugar and you have your honey. I also recommend everybody in their house have at least one jar of this honey. It's called Manuka honey. This honey is super, super, super healthy. And it is it has a lot of antiviral and antibacterial properties. So if you need to medicate yourself in home, if you've got a sick child and you need to put this in your tea, this honey, I do like it. There's something, it's kind of got like a little spice to it, but it's not bad. It's just got maybe it's this brand, it's got like a little bit of a spice to it for me, but I know that this is a lot healthier than just like the regular clover honey that we buy in the store because of all the different properties that are in here. You guys, this here cost me $20. It's expensive, which is why I don't use it all the time. I only use it if I'm not feeling well or I'm sick or something like that, or for a little little drink that I make. So I recommend having this because your baby can get sick or anything like that. So we have those, we have honey, we have molasses, you need some syrup, just sweet things that you can have on hand to sweeten your whatever you need to sweeten, Now, I'm going to talk about these. First of all, potatoes are from God, okay? I don't care what nobody says. God made potatoes as a blessing to us people, okay? I like to stock up on things like this. If you know how to dehydrate your own potatoes, you can definitely do that. I also buy canned potatoes. You can do a variety of things with that. But I love this brand of potatoes, and I buy different variations. I have like butter and herb, the butter ones, the 5 cheese ones. These are great because all you do is add water and you have mashed potatoes. I'm kind of partial to only this brand because I bought an off-brand the other day, and it tastes like chemicals. I don't know how to describe it. Chemicals is the only word that comes to my mind. So these are still cheap. They're still about $1, and if you can get these in bulk, that would be great. If you can get them in the big container, that would be even better. You can even buy these if you know you're not going to use them. Like, let me see, I bought this a few weeks ago, and this is going to last for a year. You could even put these in mason jars and use the brake bleeder like I showed you and help this last even longer than the best by date. So that's an option as well. The next thing, flour. I didn't bring any flour out here, but you can freeze your flour, let it sit out for a few days, and then put it in mason jars. Put a coffee filter on top where this air is, put it in mason jars, take the air out, and your flour will be good for a few years. Same thing with cornmeal, and maybe I'll do a video on how to do that. So flour, cornmeal, oatmeal. Oatmeal is another thing that's still super cheap that we can get, and you can make a variety of meals. You could make oatmeal for breakfast. You can make granola bars. You can break oat milk in place. Let's say you run out of white milk and you need to give your kids something, maybe something for cereal or something. They can make oat milk. So this is something you can get big bulks of oatmeal for. Shop at Costco, Sam's, wherever you can, and get a lot of oatmeal because it's going to go a long way. I recommend getting the oatmeal that is, oh my goodness, the old fashioned and the quick oats. Get both of them, okay? Next things I like to get are these pizza crust type mixes. I love these. You can make a quick little pizza with some leftover meat from dinner and some cheese, and your kids will love them. You can make a variety of meals out of this. So I really like these. These are like 90 cents or whatever. So I would have a few of these on hand. And I would also recommend you guys having some yeast, okay? Because again, we're having a wheat shortage because of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. Yeast is a great way that we can make our own bread at home, and we don't have to worry about what's going on overseas. So yeast is something, just be careful because yeast does not last forever, and I actually don't know how to make yeast pantry stable, but when you buy it from the store, you've got months before it goes bad. So yep, yeast, you can do pizza yeast, there's quick bread yeast, there's this rapid rise yeast. I think I made some pretzels not too long ago out of this, so that's something you can do. The next thing would be butter. You can can your own butter. You don't even have to have a canner. There's a way that you can just melt all the butter, put it in mason jars, let the mason jars sit in the fridge, turn them over. Maybe I'll put a link in the video that I found how to do that. So while butter is still kind of cheap, you guys, I saw butter in the store. Land O'Lakes butter was $6 for 4 sticks. Moment of silence, please. $6 for 4 sticks. So that's terrible. Okay, so if you can get butter cheaply, can it. You can freeze it, but I would say can it. I know canned butter can last up to 5 years in your pantry. So can it so that if you're doing pantry cooking, you've got some butter, okay? I also like this. This is like $1 and something from Aldi. It's your cooking spray. This kind of helps me not use my butter or use my Crisco. Crisco's another thing I recommend you getting. This goes a long way. So just a little bit of that so you can keep some dishes from sticking. Crisco is something also that I highly recommend people keep in their cabinet, not only for cooking and if you want to make something fried, you can, but Crisco, actually, many people don't know, was originally like a candle company or I think it was a candle company. That little flame that you see on the eye is fire. So for emergencies, I will do another video on emergency items to have in your house, but Crisco you can put in a big mason jar, a whole bunch of Crisco in a mason jar, and you can even use the generic Crisco for this. You can put a wick in there and you can light a candle, and that will last you, if I'm not mistaken, like 3 days. I think one jar of Crisco is like 72 hours of burning time. So that's days of light that you can have, and Crisco is about $5-6 a jar. So for days, you know, that's gonna really stretch for you. So Crisco is something you can have. If you're a person that doesn't like to use Crisco, there's different types of butters and oils that you can also be putting in your pantry. I would recommend maybe kind of going back to what our grandmas did and having maybe a little jar of bacon grease or something like that, because that can really, if you have no meat in your pantry cooking your beans, you can add maybe a little teaspoon of a little bacon grease, and it can really add some flavor to beans. I know some people don't eat pork. I try to limit how much I eat, but I'm just giving you options, okay? Something else to have would be popcorn. I think I got this from the dollar store, guys. Popcorn is a quick and easy snack for your kids. I don't think animals are supposed to eat a lot of it, but I know that dogs like it, so it could be just like just a few kernels can just be something to make your dog happy if you run out of dog treats. This can bring your family together. For $1, you can pop a whole bunch of popcorn and, you know, keep your kids quiet. There's ways that you can make some caramel out of the sweetened condensed milk I told you to stock up on and make some caramel popcorn. You can make some cheese popcorn. So this is a different, you know, just cheap option to have. And I like the kernels because if you buy the ones that are already in the bag, then you're kind of stuck with, you know, that type of popcorn. But when you buy the kernels, you know, your choices are endless, okay? Next, nuts, okay? I always look for nuts that are on sale. I actually got these on clearance, so they were like super, super, super cheap. But nuts are great to have because you can make butter out of them. You can make, I could put this in the blender with a little bit of sea salt and maybe a little bit of canola oil, maybe like a dab of canola oil, and you can make some almond butter with your homemade bread, and that can be paired with some coffee. That can be a meal for your kids, or a nice snack. You can top this with some salads. You can top this on, make a little like a nutty type chicken. There's a variety of things you can do, or you can just eat a handful and have a healthy snack. So I like to buy unsalted. I can add my own salt. You can mix this with a little bit of chocolate and make some Pantry chocolate covered nuts clusters. Endless. Get you some nuts, okay? And I have a variety of nuts, and I always look for unsalted, but you can buy whatever nuts your kids like. Next thing, dried fruit, okay? Blueberries. Blueberries, I know a lot of dogs like, and it is good for dogs, in moderation. You can put this on top of some oatmeal. You could put this on top of some yogurt. You can just eat this as a healthy snack. A lot of times kids, I know when the last lockdown happened, kids always want a snack because they're in the house. So this can be a healthier option to give your kids. I get these from Aldi because they're like $1. Big Lots has really great sales on dried fruit. I buy like mixes, like it'll have like blueberries, apricots, and apples, like different variety, but they're great to top with oatmeal. And they're also great if you're making some homemade muffins. You can put these in your homemade muffins, and now you've got some fruit. And again, these still have some of the vitamins and calcium and iron and potassium in these. So just because they're dry does not mean that they're not healthy. Now, they're not as healthy as the fresh, but again, we're pantry cooking here. All right, next thing is I don't recommend just stocking up on these. I recommend having a few and getting them if they're cheap. Okay, these are items. The next two items are going to be items only get if they're cheap, and that will be things like these chocolate chip or sugar cookie or bananas or whatever type of cookie or treat your kids would like. Getting these mixes, because all I need to do is add a little bit of butter and 1 egg. I would even experiment and see if I can use one of my water glass eggs and some of my canned butter to see if you can make a meal out of these. I know the one that I get from the Dollar Tree is like the Betty Crocker one. You can use oil. I believe it's Betty Crocker. You can use oil rather than butter. So again, some nice treats, because it's important to have chocolate. Okay, chocolate is a must. Talking about chocolate, because we're coming on the summer, I just found a whole bunch of chocolate chips on sale. So I would keep a few of these in the pantry, because these can be made into granola bars. These can be made into cookies. These can be made into just maybe a handful for your kids to keep them quiet and something sweet. And you could put these on top of those nuts, melt these down, and then put the nuts in the fridge, and you've got some chocolate covered nuts. So things like that. So chocolate is another thing. Maybe getting some candy, not too much, because we're kind of trying to stock up on things that are a little bit more healthy, but having a treat is okay. All right. So the next thing, rice. I want to talk about this really fast. So I recommend getting a variety of rice. Get jasmine, get white, get brown. I'm not a fan of brown rice, but I do have a little bit just in case I have to make some dog food. Brown rice is healthier for dogs than white rice is. Talk to your veterinarian. I'm not a vet, and again, this is not long-term food for dogs. This is an emergency. So get the rice, but I'm going to show you guys this. I like to buy these here. This yellow rice here, this has got seasonings in it already. I pair this with a little bit of shrimp. You can put this in, mix this with some chicken, and it tastes really good. It's got a lot of seasonings in it. The only reason I really limit how much I eat this is because it has MSG in it, and you guys know I really don't like MSG. I'm not an MS. I try not to let that be a big part of my diet, other than the Sazon seasoning that I use. So these are still cheap. I get these from the dollar store, but I actually bought these off Amazon. I think I got a big box of them for like maybe $9, $10, and I got like 12, 13, 14 of them. So try to get these in bulk. These are great to have, especially if you have a big family. You can make 2 of these, and you'll have some white rice to go with maybe some canned meat that you have in your pantry, or we're still okay with the freezer. just regular chicken, okay? Something like that. So next, let's talk about drinks, okay? Water is a must. People have asked me, has God showed me how long we need to prepare? I can honestly say, unless I missed it, I do not know the exact length, but what I will say, if I recommend having things in your house at least 6 to 9 months, if not a year if possible. We have no clue what's going on. And this is actually not just because of the pandemic, but I think this is also because our great grandmas, some of our grandmas, some of our great grandmas, they lived through the Depression. Okay, they always had things on hand. I know someone was like, well, you know, water is free. You can just get it out of your cabinet. I mean, you could just get it out of your faucet. If our water is tampered with, what do you think what do you think is going to be limited in the store? You're only going to be able to get 1 or 2 cases of water per family if you're able to go out. Places in China right now can't even go out of their house. So we're focused on if our home, I don't want to say is the only place we can be, but if your home is the only place you can be, you need to make sure you have everything in there. So I would say get jugs of water. Get ways to purify water, which I'll do another video on. I get my purification tablets. I think I got them from Amazon for like $3. Okay, get ways to purify water. Even now, guys, if you're on a budget, or if your family, you know, is really going through a lot because you haven't worked since the pandemic or whatever, you can even be taking some old jugs that you're using for your juice, your milk, washing them out and putting some sink water now while our water is not contaminated, and keeping that in your pantry. That way you always have some water on hand if anything goes down. So water, I wouldn't be focused on juices too much, because if they can kind of get expensive, but I would say if you can, go ahead and get your family's favorite juice, some apple juice, grape juice, apple grape juice, you know, things like that. But I really would say get some teas, okay? And get some teas that you can make. First of all, get some teas that have some vitamins in them, but get some teas that are healthy. Apples are healthy. Cinnamon apple is healthy. I can drink this if I, for some reason, got sick. Lemon, you can drink lemon for almost anything if you get sick. Raspberry women, if we can't go out of the house and it's that time of the month, raspberry is really good to relax your uterus, give you cramp relief. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's good for women going through hot flashes as well. It's great for vaginal health. You can do blueberries tea, has got other benefits to it. So I would definitely stock up on teas. If you guys know me, and you know up here, up on my fridge, you see my Lipton. You guys know I love my Lipton iced tea, so I get that one that's on sale, so I just have to mix it with water. Again, I'm not focused on buying so many different jugs of other juices, but really concentrating on water, because at the end of the day, you can't live without water. So even if you got to limit how much you drink this, you can at least drink your water. Also, if you have to bathe in your water or whatever like that, if the water gets contaminated, we can't even shower in it. If you're really stocking up on water, you can, you know, make yourself a basin and wash up with that clean water that you've been storing. And I'll do some videos on that as well. Okay, this video is becoming really long, so I'm going to wrap this up and probably do like a part 2. Let me see, is there anything else I can show you guys today on my table that I cannot make another part 2 out of? And I think I will, because I think I've been on here almost an hour already with a lot of pantry items. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Oh, well, before I say this, let's do spices. Please, 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 please. There's nothing worse than being locked in the house or not being able to go out and your food is bland. Please stock up on spices. You don't have to focus on your fancy spices right now if you don't have to do nothing but salt, pepper, onion, and garlic. Salt, onion, pepper, and garlic, and paprika. Those 5 things, if you don't use anything else, you could pretty much make almost anything taste good. Condiments, please stock up on your mustard, your ketchup, your barbecue sauce. If I had to focus on just 2, I would say ketchup and mustard, because you can make homemade barbecue sauce, which I'm going to show you guys soon on camera. You can just mix a little bit of brown sugar and honey and ketchup and mustard. You can make a barbecue sauce. Chili sauce is super cheap. You guys see me make my meatloaf with chili sauce before. Stop buying, I keep telling you guys, stop buying that chicken broth because you're wasting your money. You can pay $3 for this really big thing of chicken base and mix that with a little bit of your water, and you've got your chicken broth, and you've controlled how much sodium is in your chicken broth. So you can do that. Um, spices are a must. Something else I was about to tell you before I wrapped up, because I'll do a part two. Oil. Please stock up on oil, guys. Vegetable oil, avocado oil, olive oil, canola oil, whatever oil your family eats. Please stock up on oils, because you can not only use them in baking, you can use them in places of butter. So if for some reason you're cooking by a sternal stove, which I will show you guys some videos on or whatever, you can easily use a little bit of oil for your eggs, or a little bit of oil for whatever, a little bit of oil for your cookies. You guys know I keep saying cookies because when I say sweets are important when you're on lockdown, it brings a smile to your face, and that's important to keep your sanity, okay? Yes, and then the last thing before I get off of here is you guys need to stock up on things like paper products, paper plates, paper bowls, paper forks, plastic forks, excuse me. And the reason being is because if grid down, if they start doing us like Texas, where Texas only had like power certain parts of the day, or the power was going in and out, the last thing you want to be doing is worried about a whole bunch of dishes. The last thing you want to be doing is worried about doing a whole bunch of cleanup. So if you really stock up on some paper products, not go crazy, but at least keep some on hand, you can easily just have some plates and throw them away, and you're not forced to have a whole bunch of dishes and figuring out, running a dishwasher or washing them by hand and using your emergency water and stuff like that, if for some reason we can't use the water or whatever. So those are great things to have on hand. Some things that you could be doing now, if money is tight for you, you could start with $5, people. $5. I have been thinking about maybe doing like some hauls for you guys to show you things that I get from Dollar Tree. But if you've got $5 a week, or $5 per person in your family or whatever, you can get you a bag of beans, get you a bag of rice, get you a jug of water, get you Dollar Tree has seasonings, so maybe get you a thing of salt or a thing of pepper, and then maybe get you a can of 2 cans, about 50 cents, 2 canned goods. You'll be surprised how fast your pantry would grow. Again, I know I did tell you guys I do have a spirit of urgency right now with this, so I would say don't drag your feet, but do what you can, because at the end of the day, we are trusting God, we are doing our part. But this is not to instill fear into anyone, but it is to kind of knock on your door here and say, hey, there's some crazy stuff going on in the world, and it has been for a while, and God is wanting us to get our homes in order. Our job as women, the Bible says that she has no fear when it snows, because she looks well to the ways of her household. So we are women that you guys know I mix two scriptures, but we look well to the way of our household. So as Proverbs 31 women, virtuous women, we need to make sure that our home does not go without, no matter what's going on in the world. Our kids will be fed. I've had people say that they don't believe that we should stock up at all, that they think it's hoarding. Call it what you want, but at the end of the day, there's nothing worse than having your baby look you in the face and say you're hungry and you have nothing to give them. So I would rather be wise and take heed to these warnings that God is giving us, and stock up your pantry and do what you can. I'm not telling you to hoard. I'm not telling you to clear the shelves. Please don't clear the shelves in the store. But I am telling you to prepare. Another scripture, the Bible does talk about that we do need to take care of widows and orphans. So even if you reached your $5 limit of stocking up, or $10 limit for that week of stocking up, if you see something on clearance, like I don't like white beans, but I remember a few times I bought some white beans, keep that in case there's an orphan or a widow that comes to you and needs it, or a neighbor. The Bible says that the Proverbs 31 woman stretches out her hand to the poor and to the needy. So we need to remember, as virtuous women, we need to not only remember our family, but remember the other people who cannot stock up, who cannot take care of their houses because of financial reasons, who may not even be listening to people God is putting in your face, telling you need to prepare. So please remember, as a Christian, our job is to make sure that we are going to also take care of those who cannot take care of themselves, and the elderly. Okay, so I'll probably do a part 2 of the food. I'm definitely going to do a few videos to teach you some meals that you can make with only pantry items. I'm also going to do one of some things to keep in your emergency closet, such as, you know, flashlights and blankets and some cheap places to get those things. I'm going to probably do one about bathrooms and stuff like that, because if for some reason we can't flush the toilet, or you have to start going to the bathroom outside, or like, we don't know what's going on, guys. But as virtuous women, we're prepared for anything, okay? Because snow means anything, any type of adversity. So we're going to be prepared, okay? I've been on here long enough. I will come back and do some more videos. Put in the comments some other things that you may be stocking up on that maybe I missed, or some things that you think is helpful to your family, and I will write back to you as soon as possible. I love you guys. Share this with other virtuous women that you know. You guys know I don't tell you to share my videos, but I'm encouraging you to share with people to make sure that they're aware that we need to be putting things in our house to make sure that we're taken care of. Please don't forget your pets. Please don't forget your babies. And please don't forget those who can't help themselves. Okay? I love you. I love you. I love you. Of course, God loves you more. And I'll see you soon. Okay? Bye-bye.